Maybe we'll switch to technique a little bit, just as you said that. I think one of the really cool things about this is, in my practice working with the neurosurgeons, this is really a wonderful procedure, right, that you can do with local, moderate sedation, whatever you choose to do, MAC, GA. Maybe we could start with that and just note single incision, multiple incisions, how you make that determination.
Yeah. So, initially when we did the procedure, right, they had what was called the standard technique, and usually made an incision on either side to get access, kind of at a paramedian approach to get to the ligament in between the lamina. And so you'd make multiple incisions. So if you're doing a 2-level bilateral, that patient would leave with 2 incisions. What's amazing is now we've figured out that we can use skin turgor, and we can actually, by manipulating the tissues, we can actually make one midline incision to access multiple levels. So I've actually, say if I'm going to treat 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, I'd make like a midline incision just at the tip of the L5 spinous process. And then I can manipulate left or right and up to actually access all 3 of those levels bilaterally with one incision. And that incision is very small. It's the size of a hole punch. And so at the end of the case, there's no sutures, there's no staples. You may just use Dermabond or a Steri-Strip to close 4x4s and Tegaderm over the top. But it's really made it, not that invasive of a procedure. And now patients don't have to have that many incisions. But you're exactly right. Now, there's some patients who may have a little bit more complex anatomy. So let's say they have global scoliosis, or they have hardware that's been previously placed somewhere that's not a level you're treating, it may be the level above. Or they have a pain pump or a stimulator to treat other things. Those may get in the way. And if they get in the way, then you're exactly right. You may have to revert to the standard technique just to get access to the level you need. And that's fine. You just try to minimize it as much as you can. But if you have to, you don't want to get a bad result because you're unable to access the level and dig out that ligament. So making a second incision, they're so small, it's usually not that big of a deal. Usually just tell patients, depending on what we see, on the table, that, the plan is to go in, do the streamline technique. But if we have to make a second incision just to make sure they get a better result, I kind of forewarn them in the pre-op area. But it's usually, I think I've done 2 incisions on a patient more recently, and it was a patient who had an interspinous fusion device done by another physician and still was having neurogenic claudication. And when I looked on his MRI below the device, he still had a really thick ligament contributing to spinal canal stenosis. So that indirect decompression didn't resolve his symptoms. So I just went around the device using bilateral incisions to dig the ligament out. Actually, I just did that case a few weeks ago. Looking forward to seeing how he's doing, since it's a little bit more advanced case. Hopefully he gets the results he needs and doesn't need to be sent off to have traditional spine surgery, where it would be a little bit more complex because they'll have to take that interspinous fusion device out plus do the laminectomy.
Yeah. Great point. Yeah. And I think it's really wonderful, right, that we can make one single nick and you're really covering 4 sites easily.
Yeah.
It's pretty quick and very helpful. Sometimes people get a little confused, but also interested in the devices, thinking about, you just mentioned an interspinous spacer or device, you have to have trays and you have to plan a lot for this.
Correct.
Kind of the opposite of that. What's a T-handle, an auger, a ronger, a sculptor? What are these things?
Yeah. So, what's nice about this procedure, you're exactly right. It's single-use kits, so you don't have to worry about having SPD or making sure the equipment arrives and then it's sterilized in time for your case. That can always throw you off. Or, God, heaven forbid, here in Reno, we get a storm that comes across, equipment doesn't cut in, or they're unable to land at the airport if they have to ship the materials. So it's already nice. We already got the kits on the shelf. So single-use kits make it easy. What's nice is they've kind of evolved the procedure. So, the traditional kits used to have a trocar. In the trocar, after you got it into place, you'd have to put your skin stabilizer on, then you'd have to put your depth gauge on. They all now come in the Generation 2 kit all together, so you don't have to put together any equipment. The other thing that's happened is, in the past, if you had a patient that had really tight shingling, where it was hard to get between the lamina, you really had your work cut out for you. You'd have to do, a technique that we call keyholing, with your rongeur, which is funny. The traditional spinal rongeur looks more like pliers. The rongeur in the mild kit, it basically looks like a Kirsten. So so the term rongeur, I think when spine surgeons see us call that a rongeur, they're like, "What? That's not a rongeur." But, for the mild procedure, we do call it a rongeur. You may have to key hold and kind of get in there and take extra bites to get access. Now you've got like a hand drill. It's called an auger. You just put it where the level you need to get access. Don't even have to put downward pressure. It'll really grab the bone and it'll kind of create a channel for you that's the same size as the rongeur. You'll pull it out after, a few seconds, able to get the rongeur in the place you need. And then you're going to take bites of part of the lamina and part of the ligaments. So you're almost doing like a very minor laminotomy. And then after you get enough space created with that, you're going to actually put a tissue sculpture in. And the tissue sculpture, you're just actually not looking to put a hole in the ligament. You're not looking to remove the ligament. You're basically looking to thin the dorsal aspect of it so that it doesn't push into the spinal canal anymore. It'll lay more flat or make it more floppy, so it's not contributing to that kink in the straw at that level of the spine.
Love it. And I agree with you. I think you can probably speak much more than I could about the early Vertos days and some of the evolution of the procedure. But even, since the acquisition by Stryker, there's been continued improvement on the kit. I love the auger. I think that, there were, some shingling cases where I really had to work, to get
break a sweat,
the
right?
rongeur in place. Yeah. And I was like, this is a hard procedure. And now, with the auger, or some people, like you said, want to call it a hand drill or a reamer, just different thoughts to it. I mean, it's designed thoughtfully, right? It's intentionally safe.